Daybreak here on Trust TV, and it's time for our phone-in segment. Now, today on our phone-in segment, we'll look at the pressing and deeply concerning issue of the recurring killings in Benue State and the ongoing debate over how to end the violence. The clashes between farmers and herders have led to devastating loss of lives, displacement, and economic hardship, raising urgent questions about sustainable solutions. Now, one proposal that continues to spark debate is the establishment of ranches as an alternative to open grazing. But is ranching truly the answer? What are the challenges and what other measures should be considered? So this morning we want to hear from you. Is ranching the solution? Do you support ranching as a solution to the Benue killings? What are your thoughts on the government's policies, community dialogue, and security measures? Well, give us a call now. The numbers are displayed on your screen, and send us a message to any of our, any of the numbers. The second numbers particularly, on the screen. Do well to send us a message, and we'll be here to take them. The question still stands. Is ranching an option for the killings that's currently going on in Benue? Is ranching an option? Is ranching a better option or a different option? We have our first caller. Good morning. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
My name is Rabi Salis, calling you from Katsina State, precisely in my local government.
Good morning, Rabi. Thank you so much for joining us.
Okay, thank you, Lilian Ogazi. Really appreciate you guys.
Thank you. Go ahead with your thoughts, Rabi.
My take on this ranching is not actually the solution, but it is maybe reduce the conflict between the farmers and herders to the barest minimum. Because what is happening nowadays, there is this problem is perennial, and the government failed to address these challenges. That is why the violence is escalating between the farmers and herders. If you look at the case of Benue, mostly the native people are dislodged by the herders, which is actually absolutely tenuous. So the problem is those people are indoctrinated. They are not educated. If you look at the nature of the Fulani people, they lack Western education, even religious education. They are only feeding cows. They are behaving like they are cows. So
all right. Please, could we be mindful of the languages and pay respect to all? But in your opinion, you don't have to be abusive towards it. So let's be mindful of the language you're using. Air your thoughts with facts and, with the correct languages, please. We don't stand by that. Thank you.
Okay, so what is happening to give them education, to train them how to value human life, because this education will change their attitude towards this conflict so that everybody will tolerate living with each other. Because the herders cannot be without grasses that can feed their animals. So if they were trained and give them proper training, how to manage these cows, how to protect the crop, yes, how to stop introducing the cows into the crops, which mostly cause the problem. So everybody can live in peace, not only in Benue, in every part of the country. So, and to provide security for the farmers so that they can they can protect their lives and they can protect their farms. So this will solve the major problems we are facing now.
All right. Thank you very much there for your thoughts.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're pushing for education. Thank you so much for joining us. You're pushing for education, but the question is ranching. And, it's a space for you to air your thoughts. It is not a space for you to be abusive or insultive. Respect is mutual and respect is expected across all our callers. So do well to call in and share your thoughts in a civil manner. If you have a problem with that, well, we beg you to, stay away from your phones at the moment. Let's take the next call. Good morning. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Hello.
Yeah, please, can you turn down the volume of your TV set and talk to us through your phone?
Hello.
I can hear you loud and clear. We might have to let you go. You need to turn down the volume of your TV set and talk to us through your phone. All right, do well to call back. You know, if you're calling, do well to turn down the volume of your TV set and talk to us through your phone. And if you're interested in hearing how you sound, join our live stream on YouTube through the course of the day and listen to the conversation, including how you sound. Again, let's take the next call. Good morning.
Good morning.
Please, can you turn down the volume of your TV set?
Good morning.
I can hear you. Good morning. Kindly turn down the volume of your TV set.
I'm far from my TV. Good morning.
Good morning. Go ahead. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
I'm Ene calling from Benue State.
Good morning, Ene. Thank you for joining us. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Please, it's about the situation of Benue State now.
Okay, go ahead.
The only solution we have there is to pray to God to intervene, because the issue on ground now is very critical. It's only God Almighty that will save Benue people.
All right. Thank you very much, Ene, there for your thought. Ene is tilting to the side of prayers, yes. But how long would Nigerians keep praying without action? Moving. All right. Good morning. The next caller. Good morning. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Good morning. My name is Chijoke. I'm calling from Nsukka.
Good morning, Chijoke. Thank you for calling us from Nsukka. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Well, I think the problem with all these insecurity and killings in the Benue Plateau axis is not really about ranching, okay, or open grazing. The third tip during the president's visit, was very, very explicit and called a spade a spade. It's an expansionist agenda of certain people to grab other people's land and send them out of their ancestral homes. And I don't think there is anything wrong with ranching. I remember during Governor Autumn's regime in Benue State, he strongly advocated for the establishment of ranches, and that is the modern way to rear livestock. And the prelude to this your phonic program now, where the CDS was speaking on Arise Television, he said they've been able to establish a ranch in Abuja, and that they want to collaborate with all these herders to, establish ranches, all over the country, and then provide pastures for them and all that. And I think that's the way to go, because this issue of every time they call it herder farmers clashes. When you say clashes, then maybe the action and the reaction are equal and opposite. This one is a pure murderous agenda by certain terrorists, that want to overrun communities and states in the country. And of course, the security agents have to up their game. We can't continue paying lip service to these incessant killings and bloodletting all over the country, and we call it herder farmers clashes. I mean, that is trivializing the issues at stake. Elsewhere in civilized climes, if you want to go into animal husbandry or livestock farming, you should be able to establish ranches and keep your animals in check. You don't continue using the issue of what is it called, that the animals are looking for pastures. You destroy people's farm, you deny people their sources of livelihood because you want your animals to feed and all that. Does it really make sense? It doesn't make sense. And if you look at the quantum of blood that is flowing in this country, it's not just Benue Plateau axis. It's been there in Borno, it's been there in Zamfara, it's been there even in Enugu State here where we are. The story is not different. We continue to say it, but because the other ones are put in the limelight, it appears that other skirmishes here and there do not exist, but they do. So nobody is safe anywhere. So if the government, like they said, they've established a Ministry of Livestock at the federal level, they should make it mandatory for all herders to have ranches. You are not allowed to carry your herds, destroying people's farm, going from place to place and all that. And I think that will, to a large extent, curb this issue of the so-called farmers headers clashes. If we are to believe that is actually headers farmers clashes, you understand? Because these people, why will you go and the community and kill over 200 people? You say is because of ranching, open grazing. I mean, it doesn't make sense ordinarily.
All right.
It doesn't make sense. So I think the government should up their game. They should collaborate with the state governments, the community leaders, and all that, and provide proper security so that these people are put in check. Life is very, very precious. Nobody recreates life. You can't recreate life because you can't give it. You can't give what you don't have. So when you take another person's life, you don't know the person you're killing. Probably the next president of this country, probably the next governor of the state, and the life is wasted at its prime like that. So, my dear, it's neither here nor there, and it's so painful. It hurts, and when you look at people being killed, without any resistance, I mean, that is very callous.
Indeed. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for sharing your thoughts this morning. When we talk about ranching, we forget that, things operate differently in Nigeria. It has worked in other countries, in the US, in Argentina, in Australia. Argentina particularly, that has a very large beef industry. They rely on ranching, where cattle are raised on privately owned or leased land, and they supply food and water where necessary with assistance from the government. But let's take from the next caller. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How's today?
Fine, thank you. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
My name is Sotopa, speaking from Otukpo in Benue State.
Thank you so much. I didn't get your name, but I know you're calling from Otukpo.
Emmanuel. Just take Emmanuel from Otukpo. Please.
Or Emmanuel. Go ahead.
The attack is so widespread throughout Benue that we're all very worried. The only thing government will do for us, since we don't know where next they are going to attack, is to grant us permission, each individual, to get a firearm for himself, for protection. The ranches, if they are to do it successfully, is to allow the local government to do it and use it to generate revenue from whoever will graze his cattle or her cattle there. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Emmanuel. Emmanuel is also calling for self-defense due to fear of regular attacks. Thank you, Emmanuel. Your thoughts have been heard on the show this morning. Now, still on ranching, we're talking about other countries that have done it. Argentina, Australia. Despite the deep, harsh conditions in Australia, they run a highly mechanized ranching, and this is in partnership with the government and private sector. Please take note of that. Let's take the next call. Good morning. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Yes, good morning, man. My name is Fabian. I'm calling from Market Benue State.
Shadrach, you said?
Okay, Fabian. F-A-B-I-A-N.
Okay, Fabian. Yeah, Fabian. Thank you. Go ahead. Go ahead, Fabian. Yeah, go ahead with your thoughts. We're talking about Benue. So do you think ranching is possible? Is it a solution to what's happening in Benue?
As far as I'm concerned, ranching is never the solution to the killers in Benue State. Yes, I believe in that. Benue people, they are mostly agrarian people, they are farmers. And all this is happening as a result of all the clashing. The fact is, Benue people don't have land as you may think, or as people may think. We don't have land. We are giving birth day in, day out. As we speak now, if this ranching is being done, where are the tea people? Where are the demand people? Where are the Benue people going to have fun? Where are they going to be farming? You will discover that all this that will happen is coordinated attack. This is a genocide. Let us be clear over this. Let us not be mixing words, bringing things that it may be as if we don't know what has been happening. It is very unfortunate that the federal government and many other key persons are, instead of taking the decisive actions about this, they are playing this into the tune of the Fulani headers. That is just it. Because I remember very well, it was around the 1997. That was when I began to, know something. And I will remember there was these Fulani people that we came during dry season, and our people were allowed them, our grandparents were allowed them to graze all over. They will graze and they will be mingling with us. They'll bring their own lolo. We give them a tuber of yam in exchange. And as soon as it is rainy season, they will return back to their own places. Allow the Benue farmers to work. It has actually changed.
All right.
The latest killing in Yelwata, over 200 people were killed. And now there is a video being circulated by the leader of Miyetti Allah in Benue State, claiming that his people are being killed, but they're not talking about it. The question is, the Benue farmers are killed, pictures are everywhere, their houses are destroyed, pictures are everywhere. If you are claiming that the people are being killed, let us have the evidence. So you discover that all these are practiced to grab our land in collaboration with the federal government. So let us be very clear. There is no land for any ranching in Benue State. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Fabian, for your solid points being made there. And let's be careful how we throw words around. At least they should be backed up with facts. But still on ranching, he has made mention that there are limited lands and there has been a certain level of cohabitation and understanding between the farmers and the herders in Benue over time. So what has changed? How is that different now? These are all angles we're exploring. But is ranching really, really the solution or not? What ways can we make this work? Let's hear from the next caller. Good morning. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Isaac. I'm calling from Benue City, Edo State.
Good morning, Isaac. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Yeah. From your analysis, you said a farmer and actors. It's hard time that we shouldn't be sugarcoating these issues. This is not a farmer header class. We all know what is going on. And I'm going to show me a video of where the farmers attacked the Fulanis, whether in the farm or in their homes, being butchered, the way we see it the other way around, This is not a farmer headers class, it's pure terrorism. And for the ranching issue, I don't think ranching.
All right, we've lost his hack there. So yeah, one of the possible issue that might have, one of the possibility of ranching being a little bit difficult to work in Nigeria is the land ownership issue. Nigerians are, have many communities might be unwilling to cede their lands for ranches due to the fear of loss of their ancestral lands and their history. How is that going to be fixed? Can that work in Nigeria? Let's take the next call. Good morning. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Good morning, Lilian. This is Adi calling from London.
Good morning, Adi. Thank you for joining us now. Go ahead with your thoughts.
My pleasure. Ranching is the best way to go. But that ranching should be in a place where they have made it, like Niger State, Kano State are the biggest ranching. So they should compel them to take their cow there. Once you take your cow there, then anybody you want to sell, bring it to the market, sell your cow. There's no federal government has no power to make ranches in every state. They have no power. They will be restricted in the south. Because in the south, land is like a life to us. Our inherited land, forefathers' land, we will not trade it for anything. The president knows that himself. He knows that he can't do that in the south. It's not going to happen. That's why my late governor in Ondo State restricted them. That nothing like ranching, because they're not anywhere. Ranch your cow in the north, bring it for sale in the market. We buy it from you. That's it. But to compel people to have ranches, I don't know why they established Ministry of Livestock. The minister is just there, idle. He's not saying anything. And if his ministry, he should be the one going about, having meeting with these other people. But he just lie there, taking money for nothing. So why was that ministry established in the first place? And I've never had a word from the man. I don't even know it. You see? So they cannot force ranching on Benue people. It's not going to work. And they don't handle this properly. This issue of killing can split Nigeria. I'm telling you. If this was to happen in the south, we will not be saying what we are saying now. I'm telling you the part. Because life is sacrosanct. You can't kill people like killing chicken. It's not going to happen. So the federal government should be serious with what they want to do and take this thing very, very serious. and the people are watching all over the world. So that's my own take on this issue. So ranching is good, but let it be in the north. God bless Nigeria.
God bless Nigeria. Thank you very much, Ade. Ade just aligned his thoughts with what I was saying. Nigerians have ancestral attachment to their lands. Hence, how possible would that make ranching? We also have funding. Ranching requires substantial investment and infrastructure, from fencing to water supply to veterinary services. How can small-scale herders afford this? Some people have said there are ranches that have been created, but a lot of investment needs to be put in ranches. Please, if we're being honest, if you look at the cows in other countries that are in ranches, they look very fat and healthy because they're eating and with the best condition. But when you're moving herds from one place to another, even the meals they're having, or might have little or no effects because they're not in one place to grow. Let's take the next call. Good morning. Tell us your name and where you're calling from. Good morning, Abasekong. You sound really far from your phone. I could barely hear you.
Good morning, Lilian.
Good morning. Thank you for joining us. Go ahead.
Yes, sincerely speaking, ranching is the best solution. Why do I say this? The former governor of Sokoto State is having ranching, and he had to, he wanted to buy some crossbreeding from Netherlands, and he discovered that those breeding were cold. I mean, that area was cold. So he decided to relocate to South Africa when he bought those breeding. I went to your program here, and he created a very large space where he kept those breeds. And now each one costs, a day old costs 1 million naira. So if they are to get about 10 of it, you see how much will it cost? It will cost about 10 million naira. So ranching is just the best option. When you go to Argentina has one of the best ranching. So why can't we do the same here? Sokoto State has a very vast landmark. So they can create it. It is just for us to do what? To invest. I remember they have a butcher there. A very big acres of land they use for butchering. And they are calling for investors. They are marketing them now through your TV. But because of solution. So all they need to do is ranching. And I want to also say this. There are critical sectors that have been neglected, which is causing problems that making all these things to erupt. One is the police force. Two is the medical department. And three is the teaching department. These three sectors are very critical. And then once somebody goes on retirement and his benefit is not paid, and for instance, you go on retirement now and you are not paid. Other people that are working, they will create a big avenue for corruption. They will start corrupting themselves. That is why our police system, all the security system, they want to build houses before they retire. So these are the basic things. If the government of the day is doing the best for our armed forces and the police, I don't see reason why their optimal best will not be seen. Thank you, Lily baby. I want to appreciate Trust TV. You were wonderful. I tried calling yesterday. The network was unfriendly. You Trust TV, you are wonderful. Why I say you are wonderful? There was a TV station I also stumbled. I made some comments about Benue killing. What happened next was that people started calling me. How did they get my number? And I've been watching your TV, making calls. Nobody has ever called me. And people started calling me. So, Trust TV, I trust you. And there's no any other station that I'll start calling again. Because they started calling me, they say by 3 o'clock, they will come and reach me, blah, blah. I'm more intelligent than that. I've been in security intelligence, undercover intelligence, so I just look at them, I just switch off their phone. So we should be very careful. Thank you, God bless Nigeria.
Thank you very much, Abasekong, and God bless Nigeria. Yes, he's still of the opinion that ranching is possible. And when we talk about ranching, there's also the aspect of policies and political will. It needs investments from both parties, not just the government, from the government and private sectors. But do we have political leaders who have the political will to invest in this ranching? It doesn't matter what part of Nigeria it finds itself in. It's also a source of revenue to that state as well. And there's also cultural resistance. We'll get to that. Let's take the next call. Good morning. Tell us your name and where you are calling from.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Tell us your name and where you are calling from.
I'm Ismail calling from Nigeria.
Good morning, Ismail. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning to you and the entire Nigerians.
Good morning.
You see, the topic is a very interesting topic. And Abe and Apachikon, they said a lot about this topic. Most especially, I want to empathize with what Mr. Abe has said. He talked about Niger State. The Niger State has a vast land mass. Yes. Even in Niger State, the place that has the vast land is Borgu local government to be separate. Okay, in Borgu local government, we have Kanilek National Park, which constitutes the vast land. That place is a reserve park, a national park. Is that a place you are expecting the government should go and make as a ranching? Is that a place? Just like one of the man said about Benue, a lot of those land are ancestral land. So these are people, gone of those days, if you are living in the bush and you get lost and so like, believe me, you are covered. They will welcome you, entertain you, and give you direction to where you are supposed to go. But now that is no more achievable. So the issue, I must be sincere, let's be sincere with ourselves. Most of these problems are caused by our traditional rulers. I have a fact over this. A rider will come from nowhere to your land, then the traditional ruler will go and set him in a plot of land which does not belong to him. And he knows that this land belongs to a particular family. He will go and settle them there. Whenever this once they stay there for some time, they try to claim the place. And once the owner of the land pays, before you know it will become a problem. It happens in our area to the extent that lives were lost because of all this kind of negligence. So it is the most of the problem, as I said earlier, is for our traditional rulers. And these are people, the others, as I said earlier, they are friendly. Initially they are friendly. But with the present situation, believe me, federal government have to do a lot in order to make sure policies are put in place to make sure these people are well settled. If not, the problem of elder killing, believe me, will never stop. Because they are vested interest into all these things. These people are not doing it just for their whatsoever. This is a vested interest. There are some people that are benefiting from all the killings. So how long are we going to continue this way? Nigeria is a blessed country. We are not facing any natural disaster. No earthquake, no, all these things we are not in place. Most of the problems we are facing are human problems, which can be solved. We allow some external body to be using us to be killing ourselves.
All right.
So my prayer is federal government should do a lot in order to curtail all these problems. May God bless Trust TV, may God bless Nigeria.
Indeed. Thank you very much for your thought. I like how you stated facts and laid emphasis on the supposed availability of land and what it's being used for. We see the WhatsApp messages coming in. So if you still have your messages, do well to send, because we will be taking them shortly. Probably after the next call, we'll be taking the WhatsApp messages. So keep them coming in and we'll take the WhatsApp messages right after the next call. But we're talking about, why it might not work in Nigeria. And one thing that stood out for me was cultural resistance. For many herders, taking their animals from one place to another is not just a livelihood. It's a life that has been passed down from generations. It's part of their culture. So transitioning from that to sedentary ranching could mean eroding centuries-old traditions, and they're holding that to the tradition. But the world is evolving beyond moving animals from one place to another. Ranching is something that has been pushed for and has been seen actualized in other countries. What is holding Nigeria back? Could it be a solution? Would we see an end to it? We have this complicated land tenure system, weak enforcement of policies, and insecurity. There is also a tendency that even the ranches could be a target in volatile regions, as they might be unsafe at the end of the day. People could go ahead and literally attack the ranches at the end of the day in cases of insecurity. So Nigeria, which way? Let's hear from the next caller. Good morning. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Good morning, Ogazi. This is Shetima Kudina calling from Maiduguri.
Good morning, Shetima. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, everyone.
All right, go ahead with your thoughts.
Well, issue of ranching, honestly speaking, is the solution to all the tension that we are having here and there. But it's a fact that it's capital expensive, and government has to come in. But if we do this ranching, honestly speaking, the tension will be reduced. Why? Because I don't know why. You know, the constant things in human life is change. I don't know why in Nigeria we are not succumb to change. We always stick to our traditional ways, which cannot help us. The issue is the land. And I know we have budget land all over the state. So government can come in and have a very vast land and establish this right. If we do that, it will help. Because these wanderers, cattle wanderers that they are running about, they have been causing a lot of damages. You see, a farmer will cultivate his farm and the crop, they start using the crop, and these animals, they will come in and destroy it, which is also contributing to the shortage of food in the country. So we have to do something about it. Establishment of these rights, which will help. It will help. These waste of these animals, it can serve as a manure. We can use them to cultivate our crops, and this also will help to understand who are the real animal rearers and who are the people that are taking attention to us. So if they establish themselves, if your animals are not there, you are the wandering, you are a troublemaker. So you can easily be arrested and deal with. So I think government have to come in and do this thing. It will help, honestly speaking.
Indeed.
So thank you so much. Have a nice day.
Thank you very much, Shetima there. You know, I like the fact that he called on the government to step in and find a solution. You know, yes, the committee of elders have been organized, and the talk of ranching and the ban of open grazing has been something that has kept, you know, Benue somewhat sane for. Good morning. All right, we might have to let that caller go because there's a feedback that it's not, you know, quite palatable. But let's take the WhatsApp messages we have. For those who would still be calling in, do well to turn down the volume of your TV set. Let's take our WhatsApp messages this morning. We have a couple of them as displayed on the screen, or will be displayed on the screen. The first message we have is from Nandi Bete from Ogoja in Cross River State. We'll take this while the others will come up. Nandi says, open grazing is the main cause of the farmers-herders clashes that have resulted in the unfortunate loss of lives across the country. Has happened in Benue most recently. Ranching will confine herding activities to specific areas and hopefully curb clashes with farmers as a result of cattle destroying farm crops. Ranching, therefore, will be a probable solution to future killings. My take, indeed your take. It says it will be a probable solution. And this, if it's going to be done, investment needs to be made, because you can't put these animals and there are no proper care for them. No veterinary services available, no water, no food, no electricity. You know, if more investment is even being made in ranching, I believe the revenue that would come out from it would be something that would benefit the nation. We saw a story yesterday where they were talking about boosting milk production in Nigeria. If animals are being kept in ranches, that wouldn't even be a story, because the animals will be well taken care of. Milk production will be available and at par, at least, to feed the country and export, amongst others, and would also have, you know, enough beef to go around, just like we see in the United States and Argentina and Australia. These are things that are working for them. Let's take the next message from Dr. Livingstone Ekanem. He says, greetings to you and crew. The practice of nomadic cow rearing is outdated. Please, as a journalist, can you tell us any country on earth where cows roam people's farm and even highways because of grazing? Well, at least we've been able to point out those that are doing ranching and it's working. Now, the day we're serious ending The day we are serious ending this menace, open grazing will be banned nationwide. Let those interested in cow business set up ranches. Declare armed herders terrorists and give them the treatment befitting terrorists. And the National Assembly should urgently consider a bill for arming local communities for self-defense. Enough is enough. All right, thank you very much, Dr. Livingston there. We still have other messages that would come up, but he's saying that, you know, enough is enough. And he said, on behalf of Nigerian government, we donate Sambisa forest for the herders, you know, to the herders for the world's largest ranch. Well, we have that forest there, you know, chilling with insurgents living in there. So why don't we take it? Well, Dr. Livingston, that is a very nice donation there, but moving on from that now, ranching needs investment, and it needs investments from the government and private sectors. Everybody needs to come in. The next message you have is from Badamasi Haruna Adamu from the FCT. He says, ranching might be one of the solutions, but I think the substructure to every water solution is instilling discipline and curbing impunity. Self-defense, established community vigilante, and above all, psychological restructuring by all and sundry. I pray the exalted God save Nigeria from Nigerians. No, indeed, the fact that he said, you know, there are other things we need to do beyond ranching. This is from Mubarak Isa. He said, good morning, Lilian. Many herders practice nomadic system as a cultural and economic way of life. Transitioning to ranching may face resistance unless accompanied by serious education and incentives. And if it is a solution that depends on implementation and addressing underlying issues. No, we had a caller who also spoke about education, saying that educating the herders is something very important, especially on the value of human lives. Let's take this next message. He didn't put his name. Would appreciate it if you put your name next time. He said it's a good idea to adopt the ranching system in Nigeria, but what I want people to know is that what works in Australia and other European countries may not necessarily work in Nigeria. Indeed, we pointed that out. Looking at the numbers of cows in Nigeria cannot be compared with that of Australia. In Australia and other European countries, the numbers of people rearing and owning cows are very few compared to Nigeria. Thirdly, any policy that the government decides to do in Australia is implementable without considering who will benefit from the program. But in Nigeria, if government can budget huge amounts of money to ensure the full implementation of ranching system, it's the same people that are calling for ranch that will castigate and go against it, because the money will be spent on a particular ethnic group. Therefore, Nigerians must have equal rights and privilege regardless of which part of the country they come from, which tribe or which religion. There must be a solution to every problem. May God help and unite us. Indeed, there must be a solution to every problem. Now, for other countries, reason why it worked is because the government invested in it. And you can't ascertain the number of cows they have because you don't see them on the street. They are kept in ranches and they still have high production of beef. Take, for instance, Argentina. They have a high production of beef. All right, let's take the next message we have. He still didn't put his name. He said, my take on this issue is that open grazing should be stopped in Benue State. There are empty lands in different parts of Northwest and Northwest that are bigger than Benue State. Ranching should be done there and not be forced in any state in North, Central, or South. Benue is known for production of food, so they should be allowed to farm. The agenda of any land grabbing by any group will not work in Nigeria in this 21st century. Indeed, thank you very much there for your thoughts. And this one from Ibrahim Ahmed Yola, he said, ranching. Our colonizers left us with forest reserves, but our highly educated politicians have subdivided reserves between themselves. In fact, wetlands are now being divided amongst politicians and elites. You know, that was what the Tor thief said. He said there is an intentional land grabbing that is going on and it needs to be stopped. This is from Malam Malaki from Kafanchan in Kaduna State. He said, good morning, Lilian. I don't see ranching as a solution to stopping this menace. Herders have come out to say they are responsible for these attacks. The idea of ranching should be out of the context. If not, the pig and goat rearers will also start to clamor for a place for their pigs and goats. The fact is that the trouble in Benue is man-made with a hidden motive to dislodge and occupy the arable land of the Benue people. The solution is in the hands of the Benue people. If they come together as one entity to tackle the problem headlong. Headlong, he said. Ranching should take place in the states that there are indigenous Fulani. What's happening is purely land grabbing agenda and nothing else. It's a plan of Fulanis worldwide and the northern Indians are all involved. That is an allegation that you do not have a fact to back, and we do not stand by that. So when we're putting our messages next, let us endeavor to have, you know, facts to back them. That message was from Kusa Terwase. So we should have facts to back them. The bottom line is ranching has its advantages. But the only problem we have is Nigerians' attachment to ancestral land and how they hold it there, and the cultural attachment, to open grazing and nomadic lifestyle. How can this evolve? Education. We've had a couple of callers call for education, information, carrying them along in the policies and listening that they can be educated. And on the other part, if it's going to work, we need politicians with political will and no agenda to make it work. What is the value of a Nigerian life, especially when it comes to the hand of the government? How much they value Nigerian life that this can be implemented. Let's take the next call. Good morning. Tell us your name and where you're calling from. All right, we lost the call. Do well to call back. We're still here to take your call. We're looking at what worked in other states. People are saying it might not work in Nigeria. In other states, there is clear land ownership. Here there's my father passed it to me, my grandfather passed it to me, my great-grandfather passed it. Yes, it's okay, and ancestral ties are very important for the preservation of cultures. But, there has to be a way around it. There always has to be a solution at the end of the day. There is also strong institutional support from the government and, private owners, people who are it's business. If this is not sold to businessmen as business and as a form of lucrative business, nobody's going to key into it. And there's also the aspect of insecurity. What is the safety of my ranch when there's also an insecurity problem in Nigeria? Bandits might decide that, okay, it's about time we stop doing this and we start attacking ranches in Nigeria. Where now then is the responsibility of the government to protect my life as a ranch owner, as my property, which is the animals that are in that ranch, whether it's cows, pigs, and goats. That is the responsibility of the government. So if this is going to work, everybody needs to come together. Let's take the next call. Good morning. Good morning. The network is really bad, so do well to call. There are two numbers on the screen, so call either of them or send a message on WhatsApp to the second number. Now hello, good morning.
Morning.
Yeah, tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Usman Adamu from Wali Area Council of Abuja.
Good morning, Usman. Thank you for joining us.
Morning. My own solution is that what I see is that ranching is the best policy that it will help Nigeria. Because if ranching should be sincerely governed by the National Assembly, it will help the country by all fight between the herders and the farmers will come to an end all over the country. But if we continue moving, people like me were moving from one place to another, it will not help. That is why the crisis come. And some Fulani, maybe in the far north, during the dry season, let's say from December till March, they move down to this, and these are the Fulani that causes problem. So if they have made law that no animal should be moving across the state, any animal that moves across the state should be arrested. So the ranching is the best solution. If a Fulani man is in Benue State, like that, let them know the Fulani people that were in Benue State registered, then they will give them a land to stay. If in Nasarawa State, they should know them. You in Benue, in Kogi State, they will know you people. It will be the solution, so that when the crisis come, they will know where to handle. But ranching is the best way of handling the solution of between farmers and herders, and between even the country as a whole. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. I want to believe we have a video. We played it earlier with CDS talking about the open grazing, and ranching in Nigeria and the possibilities. So we'll take a look at it, shortly when it's ready to come on screen. All right. Still talking about why ranching worked in other countries. We said clear land ownership system, strong institutional support, access to finance, and also government-backed incentives. We had a message on WhatsApp here who spoke about proper education and incentives. So people who are used to nomadic lives, telling them to sit and have a sedentary life ranching is a problem. Let's take a look at the video from the CDS where he talked about ranching and how possible it might be in Nigeria.
The defense headquarters has just established its defense ranch because we want to show example as part of our non-kinetic effort. Sometimes we show examples, so we do a model of a ranch. I had the opportunity of being the first executive director for Nigerian Army Farms when I established, and we established a ranch. It's in Abuja. Once you ranch, animals are properly fed, properly taken care of, you get more value. You don't need to take them around. So that is critical. And so our example is we think it is important that we get some farmland, federal government or through the livestock, we work together in partnership, we build model ramps so that people can see what the ranch looks like and the importance. And then secondly, you could also give opportunity for people to come and invest and build pastures, grassland, so to say, because the animals need this grass. So if you provide that and you deny, you stop them from moving around to enter into farms, this conflict will stop. And then gradually confidence, because as it is now, confidence has been lost. Both parties don't see eye to eye. And that's why it's critical. But we must make them communicate. We must make them understand.
And what is the decision on the ranching thing?
Yeah. I think the Mr. President
is going ahead now?
No, it's going ahead. Mr. President mentioned,
they started it. I mean, the former governor started it.
No, but you know now we have the Minister of Livestock.
Right.
And the Mr. President called him there and gave him a directive. He wants it established.
Okay.
So we're also going to partner with him directly to ensure that it's done.
Right. Well, that's a good start. Yeah. But of course, your
All right, there was the Chief of Defense Staff talking about ranching and emphasizing, saying that they've even opened one in Abuja and it's, there are options. It needs to be sold. People need to be informed and educated about it. Okay, even you as the person keeping your animals there, what do you stand to gain? Fatter and healthier animals that are not roaming but are there eating and being taken care of properly. You might spend in paying for electricity and all other services, but that is a better sale for you, because when you're selling this animal, you could actually sell it at a good price you deserve because of how healthy it looks. Let's take the next call. Good morning. Tell us your name and where you're calling from. Good morning. Can you hear me?
I'm hearing you.
All right, go ahead with your thoughts. Tell us your name and where you're calling from and go ahead with your thoughts.
Samson, I'm calling from Akodi, Benue State.
Good morning, Samson. Thank you for joining us. Now, go ahead.
Yeah. The idea of ranching, being the solution, the idea is sincerity and maturity. If you know that if I touch somebody's wealth or assets, he will be affected and he will feel pain, I don't think that somebody will not touch my own. If you have that discipline within your mind and your mindset that if I match somebody, he will feel the pains. So remember, you also, if somebody match you, also feel the pain. Yes, I am a farmer, my crops. You are a cattle brother, you are cattle. So everybody should know that if you touch my crops, it will pain me. And I know if I touch your cattle, it's very simple. But all those things happen from our mindset. Yes, because I cannot say because of my farm, let me do this. No, that is the gospel truth. Yes, it's our mindset. If I will not go and kill your cow because you are rearing cow, and I don't think you come and damage my crop because I'm a farmer. So everybody is doing business and you rely on your own business. That is the gospel truth. So it's not the whatsoever. So if we have, even in your house, even in your home, you can rear your cow, you can rear whatsoever. You can take them out and you know how you take care of them. And that is it. So that is my contribution here.
Thank you very much. I like the fact that you called for mutual respect for one another's source of business. Thank you so much for joining us on the call, on the phone-in segment. The fact that you call for mutual respect is very paramount and very important. Let's respect one another. This is my source of living as a farmer, and this is your source of living as a herder. Can you try not to invade and destroy my source of living? Because anything that cuts short from my ability to provide for myself and take care of my family would be a problem. Let's take the next caller. Good morning.
This is Abaseko calling back again.
Thank you for joining us back, Abaseko.
Really, very sincerely speaking, you are seated for that office. You are very, very good on this platform. I appreciate God. Yes. I saw what the chief of defense staff said. In fact, I'm happy that there is a solution to it. And that was why I said, we should take example from Sokoto State. They have abattoir and they started cattle ranching. I believe I know that if you go to Sokoto, you will not see cattle on the streets of Sokoto State. We should evolve. We must grow beyond this our myopic sense of reasoning. We should evolve. We should go forward. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you very much, Mabasi Kong there. You know, he said that we should evolve and we should move forward from the way we think and the way we see and the way we operate, which is very important, you know. The CDS has come out to say ranching is possible and it's doable. You know, how did this conversation about ranching start? You know, it gained momentum as violent conflict between farmers and herders escalated, particularly in states like Benue, Plateau, Taraba, Kaduna. Historically, Nigeria's herders are the Fulani ethnic group and they have moved their cattle along traditional grazing routes. But urbanization and, you know, population would have led to the dwindling of grazing lands. So what could be done to find a solution to that? Let's take the next call. Good morning. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Good morning.
Good morning. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Hello. Calling from Portugal.
All right, thank you. Go ahead with your thoughts.
There's something I really want to know to say. We have been watching how our fellow civilian brothers and sisters have been killed. And I want to use this begin to really tell you that we're not happy about it. And we're not happy about it in the situation that it looks as if the government are not doing anything about this matter, about this issue. The question is, where are the government and where are these people? The way the particular way to use speakers to the community or to the state, killing people, children, wives, brothers and sisters. I'm going to ask, the way the government have no way these people passing through. They have no way, and they know the time and they know these people are passing to the people's community to kill. If they have not, even as we have not affected others or have not affected the government. There will be nothing and 2027 election is coming up and everybody is declaring why others and why our children, why others are dying every day. Let the government please do something more because sometimes we don't even have to watch television because they are also afraid. The Nigerians today, they are not safe. 2027 election is coming up. What is this mess taking over and the government are not doing anything? Now we are talking about security. And if you think the security we are talking about, we are all human beings. And we don't know the kind of weapons and these people are using. They have family, they have children, they have people to take care of. They have people to send to school. They have destinies. They have their own their children to take care of. And if we want to escape also talk about the security, what are they also doing? And these people are not the people who inside the security. And people are not the people that they are already in the security. Are they not human beings that also belong on the security but doing all this mess? So I want to use the opportunity to appeal, apart from the election that everybody is going from. Please, the government should put their head to bring out these people because there is a road that they are using to pass to those communities. Right. They are afraid they are not trying on all the life disappearing. They are human beings like us. And let them push all the government and all those places they think that they are passing to, let the government do something and do all the visions of all over that place. And let all these men stop. Thank you for having a good morning.
Thank you very much for joining us and thank you for sharing your thoughts with us this morning. And thank you to everyone who have joined in and have shared their thoughts and their opinions on the show this morning. Well, it's about time we call it a day on the phone in segment because we've had a lot of calls and messages and it was a bit extended if you noticed. Well, that's because we wanted everybody to have their say on the show and we've gotten that ample voice needed. So to everyone who called in and everyone who sent their messages on WhatsApp, we say a big thank you. We're going to a quick break. When we get back, the show continues. Do stay.